I have grandchildren. One is a college graduate, 5 are in school now. You know, you never really, you never think about those things sometimes actually happening. You know, you would like for them to happen, but you don't have control over anybody's life. I don't have control over those children's lives.
No.
And, but yet it turns out that they're going in a direction that I'm pleased with. I'm just really pleased with that. And they're doing pretty well. You know, they're doing pretty well. There was something else I wanted to say that went with that about the 5 children being in school. But I'm just hoping for the best.
Right. Yeah, you set an example and you just pray that they follow in your footsteps.
Yeah. It's like a generation thing. It's generational. Because I told my grandson, there was something inside of me that would not let me give up wanting to be a student at Lincoln. And it had to be Lincoln because of the family connection.
Right.
It had to be Lincoln. And when I came to Lincoln, I was so unaware of so much. I look at our children now. My wife worked here at the school, and so she knows a lot about, you know, student admissions and financial aid and things of that nature.
Oh, your wife worked at Lincoln?
Yes, she
Okay.
worked with the international students.
Okay, for how long?
Oh, about 4 years, 5
Okay.
years, maybe longer. Yeah, she was over there, and she worked in that department, so she learned a lot. And so she's applying it to the grandchildren. You know, when they run into a roadblock, come on over, bring your paperwork, and she gets it worked out with them. I didn't have anyone like that. I didn't have anyone like that. I had role models.
Yeah, that's my next question.
Yes,
Your role models.
Would lead into that, yeah. I went to Penn Memorial Church. I was the only one in my family, my household, who went there to Penn Memorial. And there were people there who were educated. It was sort of a sophisticated church. Reverend Mitchell was excellent. He was a very educated man. He believed in education, and he believed in young people. I can remember him feeling him encouraging me to be a leader in the church, a young leader, like a young deacon or something like that. I felt he was kind of grooming me and maybe
That
some
direction.
others, yeah.
Now, you got to Penn Memorial through your wife?
No.
No? How'd you?
I had an uncle who used to go there,
Okay.
but he didn't go there the same time I did.
Oh, okay.
And it was close to where I lived. It was close to where I lived. And so I started coming and going there, and the service was just, it was so moving to me as a child. You know, I didn't understand everything he was preaching about, but that music moved me. There was a lady there, her name was Thomasina Johnson James. And before Reverend Mitchell would preach, they would turn the lights down, and the light would shine on the pulpit. And she would sit near the piano on the row, but she would just tiptoe over to that piano, and she would just sing. It would be so quiet in there. I would be sitting there by myself, you know, because I went by myself. But something was happening in there. She just sang, and she
Now, how
was
old were you going to church by yourself?
14,
Okay, teenage.
14, 15. And then I became a member of her music groups, the male chorus, and she had a gospel chorus. You know, I became a part of that. I became a part of the sanctuary choir. it was a different type of music than the gospel that she was, you know, giving to us. But I was wrapped up in music at Penn Memorial. That was one of the things that kept me going. And being on the choirs, even in the gospel groups, I was around adults. These adults, you know, it was like they just took you under the wing. They didn't baby you or anything, you know, but they just kind of guided you along. You know, they didn't get into your business. Not that I had any business, but you know what I mean, as far as wanting to know about my parents. Do they go to church? Why don't they go to church? I never got those kind of questions from I felt at ease, you know, as far as that was concerned. I didn't feel intimidated by anyone. And these were people that I could look up to. Because in the neighborhood, there were people I could look up to. But they just lived a different, they were on a different educational level, you know. They aspired for all of us and their children to go to school. They always encouraged that. But most of the people that I knew as adults in the community, they didn't have the college experience. And so I didn't get that from the community, I got that from the church.
From the church. Is there any particular person you could highlight as your biggest role model during that experience at Penn Memorial?
Reverend Mitchell, he inspired me. I didn't have a lot of conversation with him. In fact, I was going through things in my own life because my father died, and it was after he died that I started to attend Penn Memorial.
Okay.
I didn't realize that I was meeting a need as much as I was. But I remember struggling with some things in life, and I made an appointment to speak to Reverend Mitchell, and he invited me to his house.
Wow.
Yep, to his house. He lived on Thompson Street, and that was before he was married to Carolyn.
Wow.
Yeah, that was before he was married to her. And my wife lived on Thompson Street. He lived in like, I think the 5900 block, and she lived in the 6000 block. And her mother knew Reverend Mitchell and his wife. In fact, she said Reverend Mitchell's wife had babysat her, you know, at some point in time.
Wow.
But she passed away. I never knew her, but I knew Carolyn. Sweet, wonderful lady. But I remember going there and him just talking to me, just having a conversation with me. And that just inspired me so much. And I just stuck with the church. I just got a lot of inspiration from the way people treated me. Then there was Alan Foster. He was the choir director. And he was kind of like a big brother. All the men were like big brothers to me, but he was like a big brother. I was a little intimidated by him because he was like, he didn't smile a lot. He just always had this serious look on his face. I never knew how to take him. As a young person, I never knew how to take him, but I knew it was all good. So he inspired me. But the deacons in the church, you know, and some are still living now, you know, and I'm just happy about knowing them and the experience I had with them. I had moved out this way when they had the big fire at Penn Memorial. I was living out here, but I had only been away from the church about a year, you know, before the fire occurred. And then I mentioned the playground. That was my other greatest inspiration.
Supports from the playground. Well, I think this has been the most rewarding experience in sharing with you.